Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. Today, we're going to be talking about keeping your balance and ways that you can stay on your feet with Misty from Housing Resources Bainbridge Independent Living Program. But I would like to start by noting that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the people of the clear salt water, the Suquamish people who have plied these waters and lived on these lands since time immemorial. We are grateful for their stewardship and we learn from them today. Also, our sponsor of Something to Talk About is Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which offers assisted and independent living in a vibrant memory care community up on Rolling Bay. They also have day stay and respite care programs. To learn more, go to their website, fieldstone.fieldstonecommunities.com, or call 206-594-1010 to schedule a tour today. So, Misty, thank you. I always appreciate it when you say, can I come by and talk a little bit about fall prevention and balance and keeping your home safe so that you stay in good shape as long as you can.
Yes, thank you, Reed. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I have a slideshow to show today, and then also we're just going to kind of talk as we go along. So feel free if you have any questions, go ahead and shout them out and we can stop along the way. All right, so today we're going to talk, so I'm Misty from Independent Living here at Housing Resources Bainbridge, and we're going to talk about staying independent and staying on your feet by helping our community remain safe and independent in your homes. Again, so happy you could join us. We're going to also talk about fall prevention and some home modifications that you can make to help prevent falls. So you might ask, why does fall prevention matter? Here are some Washington State statistics. According to the CDC, over 31% of adults over 65 experienced a fall in 2020. In 2021 to 2022, on average, there were over 7,000 EMS fall-related calls each month for adults 65 years and older. Fall-related injuries accounted for 57% of all injury-related deaths in adults aged 65 and older in 2020. And the age group of 65 and plus on Bainbridge Island is more than 26% of our population as of 2022. So that's going to be a little bit higher now. And then in 2020, you can see over 365,000 older adults fell in Washington alone. And over 19,000 residents aged 65 years and older were hospitalized for a fall-related injury in 2020. In 2021, over 1,000 falls of residents aged 65 years and older resulted in a death. And 49% of all injury-related deaths for adults aged 60 and older were due to unintentional falls.
Those are pretty stunning statistics, especially when you consider this is just our state.
I know. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, especially when a lot of these could have likely been prevented. So that's why we talk about fall prevention. All right, so some risk factors for a fall around our homes. Some of us might be taking medications, maybe multiple medications. So taking your medications without food or at the wrong time can cause you to become lightheaded, which can lead to a fall. Problems with our physical changes, such as a surgery or coming home to rehab, learning to walk with a cast, vision changes, any balance changes for whatever reason, and things in your home that may cause you to trip, such as the edges of your rugs, kind of curling up, poor lighting, clutter. And then a lot of us have cats or dogs or other pets. So not knowing where your pet is as you walk around the house, trying to step over your pet, and of course, all those wonderful pet toys and bones that we might have around our house. All right, so we're going to talk about some myths from the National Council on Aging, some myths about older adult falls. And many people think that falls are a normal part of aging. The truth is they're not. Most falls, as you might be aware, can be prevented, and each of us has the power to reduce our risk. To promote greater awareness and understanding, we are actually going to go through 10 common myths and the reality about older adult falls. All right, so myth number one, many people believe that falling happens to other people and it won't happen to me. The reality is it won't happen to me, but the truth is that 1 in 4 adults fall every year in the United States. So even though you may not think you're going to have a fall or you may have a fall, it very likely could happen.
That I am often surprised when I'm like recover from a fall, from the risk of a fall. You kind of forget that, oh, actually that happens all the time if you
Mhm.
aren't careful because you're not looking at where you're going and that sort of thing.
Right.
So even if you haven't fallen, you probably have brushed up against it.
Right, right. And I know it a lot of people might believe that, oh, I'm not old enough, I'm not going to fall. Well, I'm just under 50 and I have literally in the last 6 months had little slips on my stairs. Luckily nothing major, but yeah, it's and due to poor lighting. It happens. And okay, so myth number 2, falling is something that is normal as you get older. The reality is it's not a normal part of aging. We can all look into strength and balance exercises, managing our medications, having our vision checked each year, and making our living environment safer. Those are all steps that we can take to help prevent a fall. All right, so myth number 3, if I limit my activity, I won't have a fall. Some people believe that the best way to prevent falls is to stay at home and limit activity. Not true. Performing physical activities such as Tai Chi, yoga, walking, and swimming can actually help us stay independent as our strength and range of motion benefit from remaining active. Social activities are also good for our overall health.
And I think that also gets a little bit to what I was saying about catching yourself.
Mhm.
If you have more strength in your muscles and more balance, then a near fall is more possible than a completed fall.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, because if you don't have the mindset of how to grab yourself as you're going into that motion, then and you don't have the needs around your home that help you make it more safe, then yeah, exactly. All right, so myth number 4, as long as I can stay home, I can avoid falling. The reality is actually that over half of all falls take place at home. So we want to make sure that we're inspecting our home for fall risks, fixing simple but serious hazards such as clutter, throw rugs, and poor lighting, and making some simple home modifications, such as adding those grab bars in the bathroom, a second handrail to the stairs, and non-slip adhesive tape to our outdoor steps might be needed. Myth number 5 is muscle strength and flexibility can't be regained. But the reality is, while we do lose muscle as we age, exercise can partially restore strength and flexibility. So it's never too late to start an exercise program, even if you feel you've become a couch potato your whole life. Becoming active now will benefit you in many ways, including protection from falls. Myth number 6 is taking medication doesn't increase my risk of falling. However, the reality is taking any medication may increase our risk of falling. Medications affect people in many different ways and can sometimes make us dizzy or sleepy. So we want to be careful that when we're starting new medications, we're being cautious, and we're always talking to our healthcare provider about potential side effects or interactions of our medications. Myth number 7 is I don't need to get my vision checked every year. The reality is vision is another key risk factor for falls. Aging is associated with some forms of vision loss that increases the risk of falling and injury. People with vision problems are more than twice as likely to fall as those without visual impairment. So having our eyes checked at least once a year and updating our eyeglasses as necessary. And for those with low vision, there are lots of programs and assistive devices that can help. And you can always ask your optometrist for a referral. Myth number 8, and this is something that I've come across often, using a walker or a cane will make me more dependent. Reality is walking aids are very important in helping many older adults maintain or improve their mobility. However, you do always want to make sure that you are using these devices safely. You can always take a walker to your PT or your OT if you have one to ensure that you are using it correctly. And of course, I'm always happy to assist when available.
Yes, I know a lot of folks at the Senior Community Center here who are a little reluctant when somebody suggests that they use a walker. But my gosh, they're so much more mobile. It actually enhances your ability to get around and speeds up your activity because you're so cautious when you don't have that walker to trust. So if you're using it correctly, it can be a freeing
Yes,
piece of equipment.
exactly, exactly. And just for me too, like I would just feel so much more at ease with it. And it just removes that fear of falling, of that fear of, I might have a fall. What am I going to grab onto? Well, when you have a walker or a cane, you don't need to have that worry because it's right there with you all the time.
You do need to learn how to use it though,
Yeah.
because it can slip away from you if you aren't
That is
careful.
true. Yes, correct. All right, so myth number 9, I don't need to talk to my family members or my healthcare provider if I'm concerned about my risk of falling. I don't want to alarm them, and I want to keep my independence. So the reality here is that fall prevention is a team effort. We want to make sure that we're bringing it up with our doctor and our family members and anyone else who's in a position to help us. These folks want to help us maintain our mobility and reduce our risk of falling. And we always want to try and remember that a fall could cost you a lot more than you want, both physically and financially. All right, so myth number 10, I don't need to talk to my parent, my spouse, or other adult if I'm concerned about their risk of falling. I might hurt their feelings and it's really none of my business. The reality is we want to let our friends and family members know that we're concerned about them. And we do want to offer support to them to help them maintain the highest degree of independence possible. And there's many things that we can do, including helping them to remove hazards in their home, finding a fall prevention program in the community, or helping to set up a vision exam. All right, so we've covered the 10 myths about falling. And does anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Yeah, hi.
So a family member has fallen already, and so what I want to know is, are there resources available to help somebody get up once they have fallen? I think people have called 911, they've called family members. So what are the things available to help somebody once they've fallen getting up?
Yeah, that's a good question. Most often in my life, I have always believed that unless you have a way to help, and unless they're able to help you get themselves up, it's not something that a person would want to try. And that's why we do call 911. Because it's the safest option. And then because if they're in a position to where if you help them up and they get more injured, we wouldn't want that. So, unless you have like an in-home caregiver that's trained for that, calling 911 is your safest bet.
And the 911, the fire department, emergency paramedics are very familiar, as you noted in your slide to begin with. It's one of the most frequent calls that happens here on Bainbridge for sure.
Right.
Okay.
And it's a, it's a wake up call to maybe talk to somebody like Misty about how to avoid having that happen again. Look at the risk factors that were in the home or the equipment that was being used or not being used.
Right. Exactly. Norman, does that help answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Of course. All right. So now we're going to talk about 6 steps that you can take to prevent a fall on your own or with a little bit of assistance. One thing we touched on is number 1 is finding a good balance and exercise program. So we do want to look to build our balance and strength and flexibility. You can contact your local area on aging for referrals. I'm also available for referrals, but we have our wonderful senior center here on Bainbridge, and they offer multiple programs that you can take, such as staying active and independent for life, Tai Chi and yoga. And then you can always reach out to them for more options as well.
So the sale classes are available now Monday through Friday at 1:30 here at the center. And they are $5 each day, but if cost is a problem, we have generous donors who have provided scholarship money. So just let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Ray. And then, as you may or may not know, there's also a pool on the island, so you can do swimming as well there, and various classes through the Parks District at the pool. So, all right. So number 2, we want to, I can't stress this enough, talk to our healthcare provider. Ask for an assessment of your risk of falling, and which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. Sharing your history of recent falls or even your fear of falling with your healthcare provider. You do need to be sure that you are being your own advocate for your health, and your doctor should be doing a fall risk assessment for you and working with you to determine your next steps to help keep you safe. And number 3, which we've touched on a little bit, we always want to make sure that we're regularly reviewing our medications with our doctors and or a pharmacist, making sure that side effects aren't increasing your risk of falling, taking medications only as prescribed. And if you're not able to do it yourself, enlisting someone who will be able to look over your medications to ensure that there are no negative interactions. And number 4, getting your vision and hearing checked annually and updating your eyeglasses. Keeping our eyes and ears are keys to keeping us on our feet. And this can be a very simple thing to help you prevent falls. I know for me personally, I actually, a couple years ago, I went 2 years without getting my eyes checked. And I started to notice, especially when trying to walk down steps, that it was time. And so my prescription had changed a little bit. And so now I try to do a better job of getting it done annually and making sure I'm on time with that. So. And number 5, keeping our home safe, removing those tripping hazards, increasing lighting where needed, helping to make our stairs safe, and adding those grab bars in key areas. And of course, you can always reach out to me with any questions in this area. And number 6, another one that I can't stress enough is talking to our family members and or friends, enlisting their support and taking simple steps to staying safe, and remembering that falls are not just a senior issue. Excuse me. Okay, so I touched go ahead. No? Okay. So I touched a little bit about lighting, and I have an image here of some lights. These are motion censored lights. So I actually have these, they're on Amazon. You can get them. It's a pack of 3 for, I think, $15, but they're battery operated, and you can stick them anywhere. You can either use them on your stairs, under cabinets, in closets, really anywhere. No drilling needed. They have a sticky back option if you want to use that. Or personally, instead of like the image shows of the stairs here, I actually just have mine sitting along the wall on the base of steps, every 3rd or 4th step going, on the stairwell. And as soon as I step on the step or step on the step right before the one I'm going to go onto that has the light, then it lights up the whole area, and they turn off about, it's about 10-15 seconds, I believe, after. So, yeah.
I'd recommend maybe not wearing the heels going down the
Well,
steps.
that too. That too. It's not the best picture, but yes. So definitely adding some lighting, removing the clutter from our homes, removing those throw rugs or using double-sided tape to secure them on all the edges. Keeping the things that you use most often at waist level, so you're not overreaching or having to kneel down to get those heavier items especially. And then also keeping our cords coiled up or tied secure to the wall to avoid a trip hazard there. All right, and so we're going to try a video here in a second. Hopefully it's going to work, but this, if you haven't seen it, this is just a screenshot of the cover of the AARP Home Fit Guide, which I provide to every person that I meet with. I also make sure that I have it at all of my presentations throughout the year. So if you come to like our Oktoberfest in the fall, those will be available to you there. Or you can always call me if you want one and stop by my office and get one. But anyway, it's a book. It takes you through the whole, your whole home. And so we're going to try a video here, and bear with me. Hopefully this is going to work. Okay, so here we go. We're going to play this.
Is a comfortable home that is safe and a great fit for older adults and people of all ages. Let's take a tour of an existing home fit home to see just what that means. The exterior is well lit, free of obstacles, and designed for use regardless of ability. The house or unit numbers are clearly visible. There is a place to set down bags or packages, and the front door includes a peephole and lever-style door handle. Entryways are organized and free from tripping hazards. There may be a small table to store handy items, a bench for seating and storage, and hooks for hanging coats and other items. Flooring is non-slip, and area rugs, if they are used, have a rubber backing and are well secured around the edges to prevent tripping. The kitchen is safer and easier to use, whether standing or working from a seated position, such as a wheelchair. Cabinets are easier to open by anyone with D-shaped handles and easier to use with slide-out drawers and shelves. The kitchen lighting allows for easy visibility, especially in high-use areas like sinks and stoves. A touch or sensor faucet ensures that all can use it, and a range with the controls on the front prevents having to reach over hot pots and burners. Next, let's explore the living spaces. Home fit living spaces are designed for comfort and safety. They have rocker-style light switches that are easier to use than traditional toggle switches. They should be placed 36 to 44 inches from the floor. Tall furniture is secured to the wall to prevent tipping, and cords and area rugs, if used, are carefully secured to prevent trips and falls. Furniture is placed to allow for easy navigation. The hallways and stairways are safe for all to use and are free from clutter. Lighting at both ends and automatic night lights ensure high visibility at all times. All flooring surfaces are secured to avoid trips and falls. If they cannot be secured, loose rugs are removed. Stairways have 2 railings, one on each side. Generally located on the ground floor, home-fit bathrooms are accessible by all people, whether residents or guests. The room's door and the shower entry are both 0-step entrances. The bathroom has the minimum floor space requirements for easy movement. Grab bars are installed securely near the tub, shower, and toilet. Fixtures meet minimum accessibility requirements, such as comfort height toilet and a wheelchair-accessible sink. The washer and dryer are conveniently placed to allow those who will use them to easily load and unload them. There's a table for sorting laundry and storage, and a rolling laundry cart is available to move items to and from the laundry room. Any home can be home fit, no matter the size or type. Integrating the features of a home fit home can make any home a better fit for you, your family, and guests, and future residents.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I see there's a lot of work to do in my home. Some of it's gonna have to be the next time I get a range. I'm gonna have to redesign, get a look at that.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And I
Okay.
liked how the rug just disappeared.
Mhm. Yes. And that can be something hard to do for some people. They don't want to get rid of their rugs. So, being able to, help them with either, taping it down or, finding a different home for it that's a more safe location, is always a good thing. So, yeah.
So you have something in the middle of the screen, the black bar, which came and went a few times during the video. It's there now. I think
Um,
it might be like the control bar or something.
yes. Okay.
You can, there you go. It's gone. Oh,
Nope.
no, you're back now, but
Sorry. Bear with me. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint and I'm gonna unclick these other 2 options.
Right.
Hopefully you can still hear me. There we go. Okay, is that better?
that's much better. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your flexibility there as I learned how to do these videos. I came across that video recently and I thought it would be excellent to have that on the video and the presentation. So I threw that in, and hopefully you found it helpful.
I did.
Yeah,
Misty, is your office up there on Erickson?
yes,
And
yes.
is it normal business hours, or should we call ahead, or?
Yeah, for the most part, we can schedule. My hours tend to vary a little bit just because I work around my children's schedules, but mostly yes. And then if you were stopping by to pick up the home fit guide, we can I can ensure that we have those in the front lobby in case I'm not in the office.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and so again, we just always want to make sure that we're remembering that it's okay to share these things with our friends and family. Fall prevention is a team effort, and we want to ask our friends and family, our neighbors, to help us check our homes for those fall preventions or fall hazards, and see what we can do to make our homes more safe.
That's great.
Okay, and so another thing is you might be telling yourself, or you might have heard this from others, is that I'm healthy and active. Am I really at a risk for a fall? So yes, even healthy and active people can fall, and the risk of a serious injury does increase as we age. So several risk factors that we want to keep in mind as we age is like osteoporosis, mild arthritis. Those typically aren't related to how we look or feel, but they can pose a fall risk. So we want to make sure that we learn our risk for a fall, and so that you can stay healthy, injury-free, and independent. Excuse me, sorry. Earlier we talked about doing a fall prevention screening with your doctor. And so if you haven't done that already, that would be a question that I would encourage you to ask your doctor the next time you meet with them. It's going to look similar to these questions. It's going to be in a different format, of course, but it's going to ask you around 9 to 10 questions, such as, have I fallen in the past year? And you basically walk through all these questions with, a yes or no answer, and then you're scored. And so the score kind of tells you how much of a fall risk you are. Even questions like, I'm worried about falling, which a lot of us don't want to admit to other people, or I need to push with my hands to stand up from a chair. A lot of times I run into folks that might be, and even myself, I found myself doing this, my mother does it, is using all of our furniture that we have in the home. If we're not feeling steady on our feet, we're wandering through the home thinking that we don't need a cane or a walker, but we're using the couch, or we're using this table or this bookcase. So if we're doing those things, then that's a fall risk. And that is a conversation that we need to be having with our doctor. All right. And so some people might question if you really need to get your score from that little quiz. If you've already talked to your healthcare provider, evidence from the CDC shows that answering those questions can help you and your provider better understand your risk. And answering these questions and sharing your report with your provider gives them additional information that can help you prevent a fall in the future. So again, I am with Housing Resources Bainbridge, and I run the independent living program. And so some various things that I can help with is I offer a free home consultation where I provide the home fit guide, but also much more information. And we kind of do, depending on the home, we can do a walkthrough of the whole home, and we can discuss some safety modifications that might be able to be done. And we can work together on those. So I help folks plan for fall prevention. I project manage everything that goes on from the start to the finish, meaning I am the one that's contacting contractors. I'm scheduling all the appointments based on your availability and making sure that everything is done how you would like. I also provide referrals to other services, and I can also assist with obtaining medical equipment. Even just like shower chairs or a shower bench. And I can assist with mobility and safety planning. And then modifications like ramps, lighting updates, different toilets, like a higher toilet, changing out faucets, providing non-slip bath mats. So really anything that you might have a question about as far as home safety goes or modifications. If nothing else, I can provide referrals for you, but it's always something that I'm happy to discuss. All right, so what are your next steps? If you have any questions or need anything, again, my information is on the page there. Give me a call. I'm happy to talk to you. I just want our community to be safe and have the tools accessible to them, what they need to help stay safe in their home and even out in the community. So you can send me an email. You can stop by my office here on Erickson. The other thing I wanted to provide is a lot of the slides came directly from the National Council on Aging. You can check out their website. There's various videos. There's various reports from folks about independent living and aging and things that we can do there. And also AARP, it's where the video came from, as you guessed. And then also they have the Home Fit Guide and a ton of other resources about staying independent and staying healthy. So
Very helpful. Thank you very much.
yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions?
And oh, go ahead, Norman.
I wanted to thank you. That's great. We're having a family member arriving here that we have to think about these things about.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, I mean, the idea of an accessible home makes sense for all of us, whether we're young or old. We can find ourselves accidentally in a disability position, if not permanently, temporarily, and having a house that can accommodate you doing things from a sitting position or being able to accurately see what's going on in the counter makes a big difference. And it's funny that those things are things you kind of have to ask for. They don't necessarily just show up in home design.
Right. Yeah.
And as Misty said, she will be one of the folks who are participating in our resource fair, which we call Oktoberfest, which will be this year a little earlier in October rather than the end of September. And also always available at Housing Resources Bainbridge, which is a wonderful organization that this independent living program is one of your maybe not as well known, not as much in the news, but a very valuable thing. We're so glad you work on that, Misty.
Thank you. Thank you, Reed. And thank you again for having me today.